The question is, folks,
Yes.
when is it time to let go?
Okay, yeah, let's talk about
When
it.
have you held on to something for so long and
Mhm.
nothing is really happening as you have planned? When do you let go in a healthy manner? Or when do you continue to persist in that manner?
Okay, so that's kind of
For instance, here,
yeah.
we've
Go ahead,
been
let's go.
trying for about the last hour to get this equipment up and running, get on the live, and some
Mhm.
other things that you've been doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, I'm like, clearly things are not really working out that well. So maybe we should let go, call it a day. Mr. Waddle, on the other hand, is like, nah, we about to make this work.
That's it.
We about to make this come together. So the question is, when is it healthy to let go? And when is it unhealthy to continue to hold on?
Okay, so it depends on what it is. If it's
Okay.
something like this, then you don't stop until you get it right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just like if you were at your job, right? So you're at your job,
Mhm.
okay, and it's something, it's a task that your supervisor gave you to do, right? Something for a product or whatever it is that you're trying to, accomplish for that 9 to 5. You can't just be like, it's not working, I'm gonna
Of
go.
course, you're getting paid for that.
Okay. And I'm building up something that I'm gonna eventually get paid for. So why would I
Okay.
quit on myself?
So I don't think it's necessarily quitting, but I think it's pausing and then resuming another day when you have more energy, when you have a different perspective, when you have more insight. So I
Mhm.
feel like when is it necessary to like, okay, I'm getting frustrated with this process. Maybe I should pause and come back. Not saying like I'm just gonna quit on myself. It's over. I'm never doing this again. But like, when do we call it a day where it's like, all right, we've put the effort in, we aren't seeing things come together. So maybe we just need to take a break, take a breather, come back, and then resume.
Okay. So with you
You
saying,
was ready.
yeah, I am, because I'm not tired. I've been going this whole time and I have a lot of energy. Also, within this time frame, I figured out the issue.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So like if you know, if I would have gave up, then I wouldn't have figured this out.
Makes sense. So, follow up question.
Go ahead.
When in your entrepreneurship journey is it necessary to let go of an idea, a pursuit, or an opportunity? So, like you're pursuing something, an idea, and things are honestly getting to a point where it's like, okay, I thought I was going in this direction. I thought things would pan out this way.
Mhm.
But they aren't as of yet. When should I let go and not letting go of like completely abandoning the idea, not completely abandoning the opportunity, but when is it necessary to pivot when things aren't coming together like you originally imagined?
Mm. Okay.
And let me put some context
Yeah,
behind
do
it.
that.
So when I first decided to be a full-time entrepreneur, just kind of like fully pursuing my passions of like creating and designing content and websites and things like that. The way that I imagined it happening was, once I pursued it and fully like put all my time and everything into it, that like clientele would begin to build, and I didn't want to necessarily pick up another job like on the side. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna put my all in this. I want to see this, really come together. And then some unforeseen circumstances came up where it required me to pivot drastically, where I did have to go ahead and, get a job while I'm still on this path of pursuing. So it's like I had to let go of my original idea of how I thought things would pan out and pivot, all for the betterment of the journey ultimately.
I think like you said, taking a job and you still are pursuing what you're doing, you just doing what you got to do to make it happen, not like abandoning it like you said, but pivoting to me is like okay, I'm a creative, right?
Mm,
You know, actually, I can actually sing, right? If I wanted to, I could rap. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
So, me having a creative outlet, maybe I say, okay, well, podcasting didn't work, so I'm gonna go back to singing or something like that. I mean, that to me would be a pivot in a different direction and still a creative outlet.
Well, I would say like kind of going back to your point where you said like you started off like singing, like you were pursuing singing, right?
Yeah.
And then you saw like, nah, for whatever reason, you was like, nah. And then you said, then I started like pursuing podcasting. Like that to me is a pivot. Like that to me is like, okay, so I was going in the direction of this, but
Mhm.
now I'm changing my direction to pursue something else. Whether, they are still all like creative forms of expression, it's just completely different. Um, for whatever reason. Now, I guess like I just wanted to speak to like the entrepreneurs who might be like in a season of just being frustrated or not seeing things, or like maybe the pandemic took like a serious toll on your business, like how we were talking about, like a lot of businesses changed and even closed like after the pandemic. Um, or you started a organization or something like that, and maybe it's dwindled down to a few members, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like when is it necessary to like refine my approach versus just being like, nah, like I've been doing it this way, I'm gonna keep doing it this way, even though I might not be seeing the outcome, I'm gonna keep doing this way because eventually I'll see the outcome. Or the perspective of like, okay, I've been doing it this way, I see that the outcome is not outcoming. So maybe I should refine my approaches, which is what I would say is a pivot.
Um, refining or approaching something differently, but it's still like the same in the same vein of what you want to be doing. I wouldn't consider that to be a pivot.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Because you're just refining your approach. You're looking at it and changing things up to, you're doing it differently to get to the same result, basically.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So I wouldn't consider that to be a pivot, right?
So what would
Um,
you call it? Just
I would call it like, there might be adjustments. I would call it adjustments along the way,
okay.
right? Having to get a job is just okay. Now I got to adjust to the fact that I got to be at work from 9 to 5, and then I'm working 5 to 9 on my business.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Because I have to feed myself, and yeah, it didn't happen as fast as I wanted it to. So now I got to make an adjustment. I'm doing what I got to do to make it happen at that point. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And like I said, a pivot to me again is like, a total like a change in the direction, like for me, like I think unhealthy is like really getting yourself into a position where you can't feed yourself, getting you into a position where you can't pay your bills,
Mhm.
where you're literally getting sick behind the fact that it's not working out.
Mhm. Yeah, I think also unhealthy too is when you're like depressed or you're like feeling really low and just constantly beating yourself up because it didn't work out, or just constantly feeling like a failure, like because you pursued this and it didn't work out. So then you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure, but I'm still gonna keep holding on, like even though I feel like a failure. So once like your mental health is like being drastically like affected by it, then it's like, hold on, maybe we should like kind of reevaluate this.
Yep. Take a pause, step back. You know what I'm saying? And I think, there's nothing wrong with that. You take a break. You know what I'm saying? Mental health. That's what I'm talking about. When it started affecting your health, your lifestyle, you know, and all that, then I would say it's time to take a break, step back.
Yeah. What do y'all think? What would you define as a pivot when it comes to your entrepreneurship journey? And what would you define as just making adjustments? And when do you find it necessary to pivot? And when is it unhealthy to hold on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, looking forward to your answers. And with that being said,
Do what you got to do to make it happen.
don't give up.
Quit
Quit
for
for what?
what?
Until
Till
next
next
time.
time. Peace.
Peace.